Hello everyone and welcome to Back 9 coverage of round 2 of the 2023 Dynamic Disc Tournament Capital Open. Super excited to have you guys here today to finish out round 2. I'm Andre, I'm with Jesse, you're watching this coverage. It's brought to you by PDGA Canada. We're excited about it. What do we got going on here for the Back 9 in round 2 here?
Yeah, we're going to see the tougher 9 of the iconic Rose Hill played. Get ready for some more technical wooded play up and down the hillside to start it off before opening up into some of the bigger, more bomber par 4 type holes.
All right, and of course this is lead card, and we have the same players from the front 9. We got Max, he's leading the way here. Casey Hanemayer is currently in second with Nate 13. Thomas Gilbert a stroke behind him at Nate 12, and Mitch McMann finishing out the card at Nate 5.
Yeah, Mitch maybe falling off a little bit, but first time on coverage for Mitch. Pretty tough to be at an A tier lead card in your kind of pseudo hometown and deal with all that pressure all at once.
Well, and if you look at the player cards here, and there's one thing that he's kind of got sticking out there, and that's the forehand. He doesn't quite have the forehand that these other guys do, and maybe that's maybe that's something you need on this course here. So
absolutely, there's some spots for a forehand on the back, but mostly whatever shot navigates these woods for you best.
Totally. There's a look at your full scoreboard there. Jeremy Gauthier jumping up into the top 4 there with neg 5 on the round, so he's at neg 10 on the total of the tournament. So
yeah, Jade Smith and Luke Levesque as well, putting down about 4 down through 10, so they're making a bit of a charge as well.
Totally. And speaking of through 10, here's hole 10, par 3, 290 feet. You saw that triple Mando at the beginning there. That's kind of the anti-Casey Hanemayer throw. You know, last year he made the thumber throw, and he put it in circle 1 both times. So
yeah,
challenging hole.
Absolutely. Just got to throw something straight that you can hold for 290 feet. The misses are to short it left or to leave it too high and pull it to the right.
Casey Hanemayer going for this forehand here, something that'll flip up, but it catches that branch.
That was the flip up I expect to see be problematic for people throwing like a flippy backhand with a mid-range or something, but Casey shows you how to do it with a forehand.
Here's Max, and this one's looking good as long as it stays out of those trees. That's a good kick, though. He's looking pretty good there.
Yeah, I know that's an MD3 for Max, and he throws those very well.
Yeah.
Helps when you got good tree kicks like that.
Yeah, exactly. That could have been danger, but getting some tree love. Here's Thomas. He's going for that backhand as well. This one's looking like it's laced up the center. Catching a little bit of that sagebrush, but he should have an easy putt.
Yeah, that's about as well as you can throw that, just using the stability of the disc to calm it down and check up by the basket.
See if Mitch can follow that up.
This looks like a flippy fairway driver out of Mitch. And
yeah, just a little bit low and catching some trees kind of halfway down the fairway there.
I don't hate the idea of throwing a fairway driver because you can leave it lower and still get there. Get rid of some of that tree play, but not working out for Mitch. Nice layup, though.
Yep. Here's Casey. Long putt. A little bit deep, it looked like.
Shouldn't be a problem for him.
Here's Max for his birdie.
A little bit of a weird stance through the bush, but that shouldn't be an issue from there.
Yeah, and he's making that one look good. Casey will clean up his par as well.
Got to get that large frame underneath of that branch.
Oh, no.
Just a little low and soft, getting that kind of bounce off the cage, you see.
And just on that left side.
Yeah, chain's pushing you out. Thomas makes good on his, though.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you putt on that left side, it's less likely to catch, especially when you get that putt as low as Casey did there. I think if that was on the right-hand side, he might have fallen in.
It does this weird thing where it kind of skates on top of the rim in those situations.
Yeah.
Regardless, an unnecessary bogey for Casey. Maybe just needed to take another second to make sure that putt was fully lined up.
Yeah. Let's take another look at Thomas's drive here with the picture-in-picture.
Do we know what disc that was from Thomas?
I am not sure. I'm guessing it's probably a Praxis, maybe.
I was thinking Praxis too, but that had some good stability at the end and no stamp on it. Maybe something he's not allowed to tell us about yet.
Yeah, there you go. Hole 11, it's a par for 430 feet. This one can be challenging. You have to go either off the left or the right-hand side here. Kind of pick your poison off the tee. Try to get up into the fairway, land here if you can, or if closer, obviously, to get the nice, easy approach in to the basket on the right-hand side here. And, you know, there's some trouble in circle one with all these trees.
Yeah, we saw a couple putts obstructed previously here. And, yeah, really giving some guys some trouble. Just making sure you land in a way that you don't have too many guardians in the way for your approach should spell easy birdie for these guys.
Max taking that right side, and this is the danger, is that tree on the right. It looks like he gets a decent kick again into the fairway.
Absolutely salvageable spot for sure. Nothing too dramatic, just a little bit wide on that hyzer. I know a lot of guys throw that hyzer for that kind of safe, reliable angle, but you might see some more big turnover lines. Thomas might be thinking he can line one up from that side.
We saw Thomas go wide left in round one. Let's see if he can make the correction. He is taking that left-hand gap, kind of losing the disc in the sun here, but you can see from the cameraman turning around. He's got the distance. I think this one's going to be okay for him. He's still on that top of the ledge there in the sagebrush. Should have an easy look in.
Good distance. That does put those kind of intermittent guardian trees in the way. He might have to find a way to get up and over.
Here's Mitch, a little bit wider to the right than he would have liked.
Yeah, kind of like Max's line, but with a worse kick. I think he's kicked right, maybe in between the two fairways of 11 and 12 here.
Casey taking that right-hand line as well.
And that's how you do it.
That looks like picture perfect. Yeah, it's really, you know, if you can get out into the open in that area, you're looking pretty good for getting up and down. Let's see if Max can take this laneway here. The backhand.
Wow. Oh, what a shot. He almost rings up the eagle.
So close.
And that's one of those cases where he's just outside of the perfect line. Same with Mitch here. He didn't have as bad a result as I expected, but making this into a more touchy turnover than just a straight putter approach. Look at the angle he gets on it. And
catches that tree. But he should have a look into the basket.
Maybe a 40-footer. He could be unobstructed or right on the edge of bringing that first left tree into play.
Casey's maybe not as picture perfect as we initially thought, having to go down to a knee here, but he's got the distance and he's got the lane.
Yeah, he's got that straight line. That's what you're looking for.
And makes no issue out of that one. Puts it within a couple of feet for a tap-in birdie.
Perfectly thrown shot from a knee there.
Here's Thomas from the Sage.
And he is a bit left, but it looks like he's got that little hallway, and he's probably going to try and make that eagle happen.
Oh. Trying to ring one up there. Didn't quite get it. Here's Mitch.
Mitch for birdie.
Yeah, and you see those trees cause him to have to hyzer that one in.
Getting some funky straddle jump footwork in like a la Matt Bell kind of style.
Yeah. There's Thomas putting his in no problem for the birdie. Max. Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, similar situation to Casey, just low and that not enough speed to get the full ramp into the chains.
Yeah.
He won't be happy with that. That's not the play of a touring player.
No, definitely not. And he's giving up a stroke in that tight battle with Thomas and Casey. So hopefully he can rebound on hole 12. But yeah, that's definitely one that Max is going to want back. Let's take another look at it here.
Yeah, and just that jump off the rim.
Yeah. Hole 12, it's a par 3, 377 feet. It's another triple Mando here. The triple Mando is new. They added the top bar to prevent people from going too high over the top with that forehand. And you're kind of forced to go down the middle here a little bit more and miss those bamboo early on. And then, yeah, your gaps kind of get tight as they get towards the basket here. And I definitely didn't want to fly the drone through that. So let's see if these guys can throw their disc through that.
Yeah, the gap is very tight. The tree armor you saw there, while necessary to protect the trees, also makes that gap feel smaller and smaller. I did some research on this one before we started our commentary, and there were only 3 birdies total in this round. And I would say probably averaging 3/4 of a stroke over par.
So this one would be a really good get. Tom is getting a decent kick.
That's staying in the air for him for sure.
A lot of spin on the disc. Made that disc keep going. Not quite sure where it landed, but we'll see. Oh, Casey hitting that bamboo and not getting the same kick that Thomas did.
Oh, we've seen 2 of the 3 lines. You'll see a hyzer flip or flat shot in the middle gap, hyzer type shape on the right, and then the odd forehand flex shot on the right side.
And there's Max, and he kind of caught that branch too, but he will be in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, based on the scoring I just mentioned, a position like Max's is not bad. You're not losing strokes, and not atypical either.
Oh, and Mitch.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe the Mando just getting in his head a little bit, trying not to pull it.
Yeah, they're saying he didn't quite miss it. So just having to pitch up to the Mando here. This is one of those scenarios where sometimes it is better to miss the Mando, but obviously he is playing from just about the same position.
And this is where things can get kind of scary, because we did see these armored trees get hit and then kick back behind the Mandos, which, if you're not familiar, the new Mando rule says that that is considered restricted area and out of bounds. So we did see a good handful of made Mandos become unmade Mandos.
Yeah, and that's one of those tricky plays. Luckily, that didn't pan out for Mitch here, but got down the fairway, and here's Casey getting down the fairway as well, and he'll have a look for the par putt.
Honestly, not a bad effort from Casey from how far left he was. Trying to drop a hyzer into such a congested area with trees is not easy.
Oh, and that's the one tree that Max kind of had to miss there. Kicks down into that tree trunk, and he'll have a pretty big putt to look at to save his par.
Yeah, that's a scary putt to have after, you know, a decent fairway hit off the tee.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if Thomas can get it to the basket. He's in those trees on the right-hand side of the fairway, and kind of a little bit longer than he probably would have liked.
Using the advantage of being uphill, though, to kind of get that jump putt up and over. Yeah. We were doing some chatting, and I heard Thomas can jump putt now 160 or 180 feet.
Crazy, yeah. That's huge.
That's bigger than a lot of beginner drives.
Yeah.
Max with like a half run, half layup. He's going to concede his bogey here.
See, and this is the trouble. Even if you kind of get it down the fairway into circle one, you can still have these trees to compete with. Low ceiling.
Wow.
Mitch making good on that one to save his bogey. After the early tree hit, that's about as good as you could hope for.
It's a fantastic bogey save. As you see, the camera angle changed. That branch was at about the height of the top of the basket, so he had to put it straight in.
Yeah. There's Casey cleaning up his par as well. Yep. Also a good recovery.
Yeah, a lot of good putts here.
Thomas making good on his as well. And Max should have no trouble with his putt as he's going to put this one in. Unfortunately, taking the bogey on this one, which is giving up another stroke to both Thomas and Casey. That's a couple holes in a row now. And that three-stroke lead coming into the back here is slowly dwindling away.
Yeah, I think he'd want to hang on to as much lead as possible at the harder scoring Rose Hill before going to MacArthur Island, which is typically a softer scoring course.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our leaderboard here. Max sitting in neg 16, Thomas neg 14, Casey neg 13. It's tight at the top, and it's even tighter for that fourth position with 3 guys, Adam, Jeremy, and Jade, all tied at Nate 10. Brian Fries, Ben Atkinson, Luke Levesque, and Matt Picognan rounding out your top 10. Luke, a junior, actually. I believe he's under 18. Showing up really well in this tournament. He's been on the leaderboard almost all tournament.
Yeah, some players were referring to him as Little Thomas because apparently he throws very, very far.
Yeah. Hole 13, it's a par 3, 331 feet. A lot of guys will take this backhand line to the right of this tree, but the classic play is to just lace it down the center here and try to have it fall out of the sky into circle 1 on the left-hand side here.
Yeah, I suspect to see some high shots with some flex or some turn, kind of getting above the tree slightly. This is quite uphill. It says 331, but if I had to guess, it probably plays closer to about 380.
Yeah, I would guess as well. Definitely a challenging hole.
Thomas lining up the hyzer.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take the right side here. There he goes. That looks like it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, there you go. Circle 1. No problem. See if Casey can do the same. He's taking that center line.
That's that higher flexier shape. Just didn't quite commit to the flex. He's going to have a tough putt from there.
Let's see what Max can do here. A little bit of lower line. It's looking real nice. Looks like he may go long here. And there you go.
Yeah, that's a night strike 2, by the way, out of Max. Carrying all of 400 plus feet worth of power with a 7-speed.
Here's Mitch. Just got to miss that tree. Oh, not the worst kick, though. He'll still have an open putt. That's not bad at all. I was following the ladies on this hole in round 2, and just shout out to Sophia Donica, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She they were on the shorter pads, but she put it within like 10 feet from there, and it was just an amazing shot. She's got so much power. Shout out to her.
Yeah, that's a very, very good shot. Whoa! And speaking of good shots, Casey making good on his big boy putt there.
Huge
probably
putt
what,
from Casey.
55 feet or something.
I'd
like
say
that?
something like that. Definitely outside of circle, that's for sure.
Each one of his steps is like 5 feet, so count them. Oh, and I thought Mitch was going to do it too.
Yeah, and looked like that kind of got hung up on his finger towards the end of his putting stroke. Here's Max. See if he can get one here. And,
just a little left for Max, unfortunately.
Yeah. See if Thomas can get another stroke on Max. Casey's already got his stroke. There you go, Thomas. So that's 3 holes in a row now where Max has unfortunately dropped a stroke to Thomas and Casey.
Yeah, it's becoming a tighter and tighter race every hole here.
There's Mitch putting in his par. Still not a bad result.
And Max tapping in his as well. Frustrating to have a drive that good, not come away with the birdies.
Let's take another look at Casey's amazing putt here. There you go. Yeah, I mean, you gotta love the slow-mo, the walk in.
And just the ice cold look at the camera. He doesn't smile, no thumbs up, just gives you the look.
Yeah, you can tell he is in the zone. Hole 14, par 3, 374 feet. A lot of guys will just hyzer it into the Kamloops hills in the background and let it drop down into the basket. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen too many other plays on this hole.
You might see it here. Like Andre was saying, a high hyzer shape over the trees on the right is what a lot of power players will take. You can throw a lighter inside line hyzer that never has to get above the trees and park this one as well, or throw a flat shot that stables up at the end and comes in. Thomas lining up the big hyzer, but if I remember right, Max was throwing a P2 in practice and parking it where Thomas is throwing a 155-gram destroyer here.
Yeah, that's a little bit shorter than he would like, obviously.
That is the one danger of the wide hyzer. If you come in a little too low, you get caught up in those trees. But if you leave it too high, you end up wide and in jail as well.
Here's Casey, a little bit lower. It doesn't take that wide route.
Told you, flat shot that hyzers.
Yeah. That one's looking pretty good from him. He'll be outside of the circle for his putt, but he should have no obstructions there.
And yeah, that looks like a sky god in the hands of Max.
And there you go.
And this is the one I was talking about, that slow pushing hyzer. And I think this should be, as I say, should be good. He catches an unfortunate tree.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And he's going to have a bit of a putt left in front of him as well. Here's Mitch. Hoping that one was going to flip up on him a little bit. It looked like maybe a little bit of an early release.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Mitch had drawn up out of his hand. Fortunate to catch that tree and not end up with an 80-foot look.
Yeah.
And by look, I mean pitch up under the trees. Thomas from a knee now.
And
go in.
Oh, not quite, just to the right.
That would have been remarkable.
That would have, yeah. You know, it's from uphill like that. That's such a touchy shot. See if Max can get this one to drop, and he does. Getting that stroke back on Thomas. That's a great putt for Max, and I bet he feels great about it.
Yeah, good to get one. Maybe now that would be a little tougher for Casey to get, and that Thomas is already not.
Oh, and Casey, so that close.
That close. One of Casey's biggest strengths, obviously, is putting.
Yeah.
Making those more often than not.
See if Mitch can get this one to go. He hits Cage as well. He was walking in, and he thought that was in. He only needed about an inch more.
Thomas forced to go to a knee again with these trees. Ooh, and the body language there. Maybe a little nervous that one was left, but
it was a little left, but luckily that one caught. Gets his par. Casey's going to get his as well. And
I like how we're pausing to say it, because every time I thought we had a made putt in the first few holes,
I know
one of them managed to jump out on us.
You never know. You never know, especially on these baskets. So here's Max with Eric looking on in the background.
Boom. Shout out to Eric Fast. I played one of my rounds with him, and he was a great group mate. He's also been the coach of the Lethbridge University disc golf team.
Yeah, love to see college disc golf coming into Canada, with a couple of schools getting involved here in BC. Hole 15, it's par 3, 351 foot. We're going back up the hill. You see a lot of people try to get this one up straight up the gap on the left-hand side. And obviously, if you're a power thrower like Thomas, you could go over the right-hand side and just try to get it in. But yeah.
Very, very similar to hole 13 that we just saw.
Yes.
There are a couple trees right off the right side of the tee box here that change kind of the angle you have to deal with if you want to take that power hyzer over the top. We might see a couple forehands, though. I know Max and Casey both have a power sidearm that won't have to fight with those trees.
Mm-hmm. And here you go.
Yep. Wow.
Nice form. That's not... It's going to crash to the right.
It had all the distance, just maybe not enough angle to keep it in line with the basket.
Yeah, it could be worse. He'll be competing with that tree, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, tough angle to putt from.
Thomas taking that right-hand hyzer line.
It kind of like a flat to flex shape, like I said, with those first trees off the tee box getting in the way. And
makes it look good.
Yeah, I believe that's his signature Coalesce. Not a disc I've got my hands on, but you can see why his name's on it.
Mm-hmm. Here's Casey. Let's see if he can make good. And he's going with the backhand here, which is...
Backhand, I believe this is FX3 out of Casey.
He's taking that same line as Thomas. Not to be outdone. There you go.
Calling for it to go in and making a pretty good effort as well.
Mitch.
Ooh, Oh, just a little overturned, maybe taking the more traditional up the gut.
Yeah, and that's obviously the danger of that. You know, if you have the power to go over those trees that he hit, then by all means take it. But no problem with his little pitch up there, and he'll get his par, no problem.
Yeah, Max with that awkward line we were talking about.
Oh, not quite. And
top of the cage again.
Yeah.
He's got to make this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a must get.
Can't turn this into a 2-stroke swing to Thomas.
And he gets it to go. Yeah, that's one of those ones that makes you feel good. You know, Casey and Thomas both getting their birdies. Just trading strokes with Max here. Last couple of holes. And there you go. It's a neg 15, neg 16, and neg 17 at the top again. 2 strokes separating first and third. Unfortunately, Mitch falling off the pack.
Yeah, like we said, maybe some camera jitters, but I want to see him get a birdie, and I know there's a couple coming up that he can get.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our scoreboard through 15. You just heard it. Max, Thomas, Casey, neg 17, neg 16, and neg 15. Jeremy jumping up again to 4th place with a neg 11. Adam Alexander, neg 10. And then Jade Smith, neg 9. 3 people. Miguel, Ben, Brian, all at neg 8. Noah Higgins rounding up our top 10 at neg 7. And Noah's finished his round.
Yeah, throwing down a 7 down today from Noah after even the day prior. Nice bounce back from him.
Totally. Hole 16, par 4, 575 feet. One of the probably more well-known holes on the course because it's one of those ones where you can just sort of unleash. There's a lot of airspace. You're going to see a lot of these guys get it out to the right and kind of come into behind these trees here. Or if you got the arm, it'll go even further, so...
Yeah, kind of like a nice break after getting out of those tighter tunnel shots up and down the hill. OB left at the hillside and OB right as you approach what would be the end of hole 1. Mm-hmm. You can definitely pull it out to the right if you're trying to go for it and you turn something over. But if you get in your own head about doing that kind of thing, you can also leave it a little early and go down the hill.
Yeah.
Trying to push past the island of trees that you see in the distance there. And that's probably exactly what Thomas will do. Oh.
See that kind of turns over a little bit, but
this is a good shot. I remember this because that's me in the black sweater playing spotter.
There you go. That's pretty good.
He almost hits me with the disc.
Like you just mentioned, you know, he's got a jump putt on him, so that's jump on range for sure.
I think he actually wanted a little bit more turn to get fully around the trees there, so that he could, maybe even skip up to like a 70-foot attempt.
And this one looks like it's going wide to the right. He catches that OB. Fortunately, when you see the crowd turn around, that's never a good sign. Shout out to Jesse. What a flag wave.
Yeah, I am so good at waving the flag. Yeah, Casey just leaving it out by about 3 feet, if I remember right. You'll see the white stakes if we go back to that shot.
Here's Max kind of going to that same spot, just flipped over on him and didn't come back.
Yeah, I think watching Thomas not get enough turn to get around made these guys kind of push it. And again, yeah, just outside the white stakes by about 10 feet for Max here.
Let's see if Mitch can make to the correction.
Mitch looks like he's done the same thing just earlier. Fade in.
And that's too bad.
And by too bad, you mean?
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That looked like it could have come in here, but couldn't quite tell. But it looked like maybe one of those spectators got a foot on it, but...
And Casey's spot here is not great. Throwing the sidearm to take the hill out of the way, but a well-thrown shot
What
for
a
having
shot.
that many obstacles.
Yeah. Here's Mitch. Going with the backhand. Kind of see the lane there in the camera. This one, that was looking really good if it didn't hit that tree.
I will say, from looking at Mitch's lie, that tree to his left was crowding him a lot more than the camera told you.
And that's how close he was to being in bounds on that shot. It's really unfortunate. Here's Max. Just putting that trusty tactic in.
I would have said the same thing, but I
put it in.
think that was a mutant that
Was it
time.
a mutant?
Yeah, these guys were very scared of throwing straight at it and going OB again. Just getting something with that trustworthy stability. And here's that jump putt we were talking about from Thomas.
Doesn't get the height on it, and maybe that OB came into play, just trying to get this one and get out with his birdie.
Yeah.
Especially after seeing Max go out of bounds.
Yeah, you know there's a free stroke there if you just play cleanly. Oh, Mitch running it and luckily catching some basket to settle down there.
Mm-hmm. So he's putting straight at the out of bounds, just like Casey is here. Casey making no problem with that one. Gets his par to drop.
Taking some deep breaths on his way to the basket. Maybe not so happy about that OB.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's right on the tail of Max here.
Mm-hmm. Thomas putting this one in with no issues.
No, I've thought about it for a second, and I bet you that jump putt was just a jump putt layup. Good way to control his distance.
Yeah, I agree.
I want it to be a run in my head.
I think we all want it to be a run.
But I think that Thomas is a smarter disc golfer than me as well. Yeah,
and maybe if he had a few strokes on everyone, he might have run that for the crowd. But you know, if you can get the birdie and bring yourself into a tie for the lead heading into hole 17, you may as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas never, like you said, scared to put on a show for the fans when he's got a bit of a cushion. But game face is on now, having tied it all up at 17 down.
Yeah. Speaking of 17, hole 17, par 4, 638 feet. A lot of these guys will take this hyzer line where the camera is going, the drone, and just kind of landing it in this area, this wide open area here. Obviously, the further you can get and kind of try to line yourself up with this laneway as it does get tight heading into the green here.
Yeah, they're looking for a placement shot somewhere short of the gap that we're seeing here, just trying to get their left and right in the right spot to make a clean approach into this more protected green. Mm-hmm. Being too left and right makes it very, very tough to navigate that angle.
Yeah, and you saw that in round one where a couple of guys had to make some touchy shots, I'd say, from the right-hand side. So,
on a side note, how cool is this bench? I don't know if you'll see it, but it is a like chainsaw carved set of ram horns.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Very cool. Here's Thomas.
Yeah, he's going hyzer.
Yeah. The other play is that gap on the left with the forehand.
I don't think that's very good.
No, it looks like it's coming wide left, but he might, he'll kind of be a little bit cut off there.
He's left it a little too inside.
And there's that forehand gap I briefly mentioned there.
Casey's flipped his up a bit too much as well, and I think he's also too far out to the side.
But he might be a little bit further back, so that kind of opens it up a little bit.
Definitely. The Thomas issue would be to throw it too far and off to the side so you have nothing.
Max can get this one losing the sky, but
yeah, hard to see the white disc.
Too bad. That looks like it's going to be right in line with that opening in the middle of those sagebrush there.
Yeah, that was a PD2 out of Max. Yeah. Kind of makes sense to get it down to the ground a little sooner than the big distance discs.
See, Mitch can do the same here.
Mitch looked a little wide right, but maybe this thing's going to push back enough, and it looks like it has.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll kind of see where we are here, but yeah, there you go. There's Mitch and Max right in the middle. You can kind of see Casey's disc on the left here, so you can. The distance isn't necessarily the best thing, but Mitch, unfortunately, getting a little bit over on this.
Yeah, it gets way over on that one after setting himself up really in the perfect position. It's unfortunate for Mitch. See if Max can make an improvement on that from a similar lie.
An improvement he does,
but that is a stable.
Yeah, and he'll just inside circle, it looks like.
That is one thing, is the trees start quite quickly behind the basket, so you can skip into a difficult spot.
So not the worst here, just kind of got to go over these trees, but there you go.
Getting no skip is very, very good for Casey.
Yes, exactly. And here you go with Thomas. There's a line there for sure.
Is he going to go? Yeah, he won't go at it. You can see the basket here, but this is not a line. The line is 30 feet to the right of where Thomas was.
And as you can see there, the trees kind of, you know, looking back at where Thomas was, you can see that the line isn't there straight to the basket. So, you know, having him pull that over top kind of leaves a lot of airspace for that disc to fall out of the sky.
Yeah, it's going to be an important putt for Thomas now.
Taking his time.
Yeah, 35 feet here could mean the difference between the lead going into the final round and
not quite making it.
That will be left to hole 18.
And this is one that Max is definitely going to want to get.
Yeah, this is his chance to re-solidify his lead here. Oh, and he hates it out of his hand, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, and he knew.
Just hung on to that one enough to get it off to the right.
And I mean, just like that, it's neg 17 at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah,
all three guys.
Three-way tie, 17 down going into 18.
Oh, sorry. Casey's actually 16. That's already updated there.
Oh, our
my
graphics
bad,
guy.
my bad. But there you go. That's still super tight going into hole 18. You know, Thomas and Max tied at 17. And Casey just one stroke behind thanks to that birdie. Let's take another look at this Casey forehand drive.
It's that signature Casey sidearm.
Yeah.
And tongue out huck face.
Yeah.
Both very common things.
Yes. Here we go. Hole 18, par 3, 301 feet. Just, yeah, if you can lace it down the middle, a lot of guys will take the forehand line. There's OB on the left, OB on the right. No matter what, you're kind of challenging the OB, whether you're going forehand or the wide backhand hyzer line. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a pretty stock, flat, overstable sidearm. Throw your favorite zone gator tactic, what have you. Yeah. But you will see some guys that don't have the sidearm going for an over-the-top hyzer, which can challenge the OB early if you pull it and can spell big trouble.
Yeah.
And Casey has put too much flex on this. It's got to come back in.
Chasing people away here.
And that little bunch of grass just stops him from getting the skip back in. Yeah. He will be OB early.
It's an unfortunate break for Casey there. See what Thomas can do.
That's more of the shape you want to see out of the hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Skipping underneath the basket.
Yeah, probably resulting in about a 20-footer for him.
See if Max can do the same. That's that tactic.
Yes, that's the tactic, and he's just thrown it too high.
Yeah, but not the worst.
I might have oohed a little hard. That might have been behind the basket, but still very good result.
Yes, yeah. There's that backhand hyzer line from Mitch.
I think he's done it well.
He has done it really well. So all three of those guys kind of in the same area. Fortunately, Casey going out of bounds early.
Yeah, Casey will want this one back as he is a forehand dominant player. And maybe the one of that group I suspected would never make that mistake.
So you can get this long putt to drop. Not quite, just a little bit low.
Still a very good effort from 55 or so.
Max. And he's just a little bit low as well. That is super unfortunate for Max. Look at that clean scorecard from Thomas. Just getting another birdie, and he's going to take the lead heading into round 3. Mitch finishing up with a birdie, saluting the crowd.
Yeah, I gotta love watching Mitch play. Even though it didn't go his way, his parents were out watching him. They live here in Kamloops. Kind of warms your heart just to have that happening around you.
Yeah, there's Casey dropping in his bogey after going out of bounds, and Max with the par. So a bit of a, as you can see from Max's scorecard, bit of an up and down roller coaster. Finishing out with a few pars in a row. I'm sure he'd like a few of those putts back.
Yeah, definitely challenges on the putting green for Max, keeping him away from extending his lead today. Some good, clean play out of Thomas and honestly Casey as well.
Yeah, definitely. Makes for some really entertaining disc golf, that's for sure.
Mitch's moment here as he salutes the crowd, waves to everybody that's out watching him play.
Yeah.
Probably something he won't forget for a long time.
Yeah, let's take a look at our scoreboard heading into the final round. As we mentioned, a hot round from Thomas, neg 11 on the round, brings him to neg 18, Max, neg 17, Casey, neg 15, and Adam Alexander and Jeremy tied for fourth, with Adam jumping onto the lead card for round 3. Ben, Atkinson, Jade Smith, neg 10, Brian, neg 9, Miguel and Luke at neg 8. So that's a talented top 10.
Absolutely. Too bad Jeremy didn't get into that lead card. He is a friend of the program here over at Park Pro, but awesome to see another new face on coverage in Adam. Can't wait to see him in round 3.
Yeah, and if you're not a patron, join the Patreon, patreon.com/parkpro. We appreciate your support. I'm Andre.
And I'm Jesse.
Thanks for watching. Catch us on round 3.